Okay, so we had service today. We had communion today. And we had to go to a funeral. And every time I put it on, and the funeral was our Elder McGinnis. Lord have mercy. I hate going to funerals because it's like a sadness. And this must be was a sadness. Do y'all remember back, maybe about, it could have been as far back as 2 months ago. I kept saying that I keep feeling this sadness. And I kept saying that it wasn't close to me. It wasn't like a family member, but it was like somebody I knew. It was like somebody I, like, in other words, I was going to feel it. Like I was going to be touched by it. So I guess what it was, because I don't feel it anymore, what it was that the reason why it was affecting me is because she was a child of God. Ooh, my back. And it was somebody out of, how can I say? Someone from the fold of Christ. You know, I guess now I'm seeing we can feel when someone of God, or should I say a saint of God, is going. You know? I wouldn't pay for my food. Now, I went to the buffet, the Chinese buffet, and they have aluminum pans, which is $22. And then they have, $22. No, $11 for the aluminum abalone. And then you have the carton one that has the little sections in it. The big section, and then you got 2 small sections. And that one, I didn't even see the price. But it usually be $12. So now here's the thing. I stopped at the bank, took off $20 because I was thinking about going to Golden Crust. But I was like, wait a minute. I can get 2 meals for the price of Golden Crust. They got the big plastic bowl where you can put more food in, but they charge by the weight. And the food. So, the meat you get. So, if you get chicken, the general buffet is $8.99, and chicken is $8.99. But if you get anything beyond chicken, you pay $9.99. Don't get no shrimp or nothing. You got 19 oxtails is, I think, $19.99 or $12.99, something like that. So I was like, I can get 2 meals. So anyway, I went there and I bought 2 Diablons for $12. I keep saying $12. $11 a piece. So 11 and 11, unless my calculation is wrong, is $22. Am I right? So I took out $20. So I gave her the $20 and I gave her the $10. Oh, so she gave me back 5 and some change. Okay, so I know what they did. I'm thinking it was a $20 bill. That's what I was thinking in my head. But all I had to do was give her the 10, 15, 20. She gave me back $5, which would have been $25, because that would have been $30 I'm giving her. 5. She gave me back 5, and she gave me back 3 singles. So 20. Okay, so that means 10, 15, 15, 20, 25. Yeah. 22, 23, 25. Yeah, she gave me back $5 and $3. Because instead, I like when I go to the bank, I don't get whole bills. If I can get singles, I get singles or 5s. Especially when I'm taking out a lot of money, big money. I give me a hunk of singles. I be feeling like I'm rich. So anyway. So yeah, I don't feel that now. So, you know, I'm seeing now. Learning, I'm learning. And I don't have a down pack yet. I ain't got a down pack. But I'm learning the warnings of God. That when he send warnings, you know, they different types of warnings. You see what I'm saying? Not every warning is a death. It could be a warning that something is going to happen, but it doesn't have to mean death. Right? I'll give you an example. I was on my way getting ready for school this particular morning. And before I go to school, my grandmother, every day before I went to school, my grandmother would always pray. Right? Take me down in prayer and pray. So this particular day, morning, we went into prayer and she prayed and the Spirit of God came in. She started speaking in tongues forcefully, relaxationally, if that made any sense. And when we finished, Mommy told me, said, Sharon, when you get to school, mind your business, be careful, and behave yourself. I said, yes, ma'am. Yes, I did. I went to school, I mind my business, and I behaved myself. If I had gotten a chance to do so, because as soon as I walked in the school, everybody, my classmates, when I got into the school and walked up the steps and was going to my class, it was a whole lot of people there. And they met me. Is that my bus? Let me see if it's turning. I mean, these buses be passing. Yep, it's turning. Man. So, when I got there, I don't know I can't remember whether it was a teacher or whoever, but they was like, my friend said to me, they said, you can't go in there. You better not go in there. I was like, wow, what's the matter? So they told me, they said, Pauline went to the hospital and her parents are here. And, ooh, you know how people, I'm not going to say exaggerate, but you know how people instigate stuff and exaggerate things that not really how it is. But I'm sure that a lot of things went down. A lot of things were said. Who knows? They could have went into class looking for me because I was late. And they wanted to know who I was. So the teacher came to me and said, Miss Jordan. Not Miss Jordan. I'm saying Miss Jordan. I wasn't even mad. Miss Wilson. Sharon, you can't go in the classroom. You can't go until your grandmother comes to the school. Because we're going to have to suspend you. I said, suspend me for what? For what you did to Pauline. I was like, oh my goodness. And here's the thing. When you do something wrong, you know when it come back to haunt you. I knew I had no business doing what I did to that girl. Y'all want to know what I did? Amen. Being Christ is a new creature. Remember that. And I want y'all to know I ain't no fighter. I ain't no instigator. I ain't no starter or nothing. I don't cause no trouble. I ain't no bully. but I was bullying then. And here's the thing. This is why I understand children and understand young adults, and maybe that's why I gravitate to children a lot. And I probably would have had 10 if it was up to me. Because I went to school the day before. And this girl, she came to school. Her name was Pauline. She was very slim, tall. And she was a nice girl. And I was too. They didn't have no problems out of me. I was a jokester. So I had a lot of friends that hung out with me because I was fun to be with. Right? Because I will always have them laughing as well as the teachers. But anyway, making a long story short. So she had this book. Right? And I wanted to hold the book. And she wouldn't let me hold the book. While I was in the school or in the classroom, I could hold it. She let me hold it. But once we left that class and it was time to go home, she wanted her book back. And I was trying to get her. Let me hold it, Pauline. I'll bring it back tomorrow. I ain't gonna let nothing happen to it. My grandmother's right on point. Yeah, I am bringing my grandmother in this. Like, what she got to do with this? Nada. But my grandmother watches out for me, and she would make sure when I would let her know that this is Pauline's book, and she'll make sure nothing don't happen to it. She said, I understand that, Sharon. She said, but my mommy told me not to let nobody hold this book. I don't know what was going on with this book. Right? Why would I want to beat up somebody for a book? Right now, where I stand today, that is so crazy. Right? So, she wouldn't let me hold the book. So, I'm going back and forth with her with the book. She wouldn't let me hold the book. And you know how you holding on to it and the next person holding on to it. So, you let go of the book real fast. And the person got all their strength in the book. So when you let it go, they fall backwards, right? Okay, when she fall backwards, I go hit her. Right? I'm hitting her. All on top of her head, all in her face, because I'm mad now. Lord, I can sing this song. Look where He brought me from. Lord have mercy. Sorry, all that phlegm, cold, whatever. All that anesthesia coming up out of me. So, that wasn't enough for me. I done hit her up and I didn't tear the book because she held on to that book. I was trying to get that book out of her hand. She held on to that book. So when I realized I couldn't get the book, then I said, I'm going to get chill. And I started hitting her and beating her all up and stuff. And then I go and I say to her, you ain't going to let me hold the book? You ain't gonna let me hold the book? And she's like, no, Sharon, I can't let you hold the book. I think my bus coming. My mother told me not to let her. She made me so mad. I took her head and hit it inside. Y'all know them school doors. You know them school doors is iron, right? I'm talking about them doors. You know, we've been to school. I don't know how they made today, but I believe they still iron. I took her head and bammed it up against the side of the door. Where the door slammed closed, I took her head and slammed it up against it. And I pushed her into where she fell into the door. And I pushed her so hard that the door opened and she went falling. You know, not all schools have steps, but unfortunately our school had a step. And she went flying down the steps. Now I didn't care nothing about the book now. Now I'm just gonna beat you up. So we get in the middle of Eastern Parkway and Schenectady. Because I lived it on St. John's between Schenectady, Utica, and Schenectady. This is my bus. Oh, I hope it don't say. Not. Oh, yeah. All right. I'll finish the story.